switch to the back, and this is as far as what we call the dark side, or what we call those unknown mysteries. Remember now, to the average Christian, the Egyptians were the devil.
This particular Damien comes from the ancient word Amian or Amen or Amen, which just means hidden. And if you notice, what's that, D-D-E-N? Hidden. This particular Damien just means hidden. Even the word omen. They don't do things M-O-N or M-E-N. Omen is amen. And it means hidden. They got a movies that are hidden. And this is one of the main key things of what they're dealing with in their particular movies. And what we're dealing with based on the alchemical treatment is we're dealing with the black person or the soul, actually called in Jung mythology the shadow. Now, the other day I told you that evil is good in the context of where you put it. Now, in the context of alchemy, I want to get this particular book. This is interesting. This is a book called Jung on Evil. So he's going to give you a whole lot of psychological things on why people do this and why people kill and all this type of thing. But if you actually check his particular, the context and look at this particular, chapters, he has this word, the shadow, and the fight of the shadow. The fight with the shadow. Now, we're not just talking about psychology, because basically what Jung did is Jung literally purchased a Gnostic text when they dug up the Nag Hammadi Library in 1945. Jung and his particular institute went over and they had enough money to purchase one of the particular texts called the Seven Sermons of the Dead. There's a whole book put out by Princeton University called Gnostic Jung. So therefore, he was able to surpass Sigmund Freud because he was dealing with the African shit. Now, on the other hand, dealing with this particular, the fight with the actual shadow, we're not just even talking about, even in psychology, when you go in psychology, they say if you're ever going to get better, you're going to have to face your demons. Or get on top of your demons. This was the role even in Star Wars when they told him to go in the cave. Luke Skywalker, go in that cave. So Yoda told him, he said, what? He said, what's in there? He said, only what you take with you. Which the cave is actually his true self. Now, the interesting point is, why is this connected with evil? Now, we're not talking about psychology here. This is a little bit different what we're talking about here. We're talking about a form of the ultimate weapon in the last days. This particular evil is divine. It's not the type of evil that you manifest physically by physically going out to kill anybody, because by doing the physical act, that is actually giving credit to the physical, and therefore you are actually doing the opposite. This is talking about a train of thought that the Book of Law says compassion is a vice for kings. So what we're talking about is an alchemical process of getting to your pure energy, or the pure essence of your energy. As we know, the government understands that he's killed this over the years by giving you fundamentalistic religion and making you so-called quote-unquote good. And why is it every time we quote-unquote turn good, shit fall apart? And not only that, the so-called people that so-called good, we don't like no more. Now, what are we talking about here? We're talking about the kind of energy, the kind of evil that's pure energy. And what we're talking about is this. Now, you have to take this off of the moralistic and humanistic side of shit. Because we have to stop thinking like humans. Based on history, we were advanced rulers of the universe. And we later on became human as a hibernation stage before the metamorphosis. But now we are going to metamorphosize, but we are still now trying to be human, which is the cocoon stage. So what is the other stage? The other stage is this evil monster that they're showing in all the monster movies is your ass. So what is the ultimate hieroglyph for the evil monster? It would be that based on the alchemical term that we're talking about as far as the mythology. It would be something like the movie Alien. Take no prisoners. You see what I'm saying? Now we understand based on the Egyptians or the Camites, the ultimate symbol for chaos was not the lion. The lion is the archetype of the divine transformation. So they said the lion was the greatest animal, the strongest animal in the animal kingdom. That's bullshit. Like I told you last week, you walk up on a lion based on him not being hungry, you might be able to get away. You walk, if you swim with a shark, if he don't see no blood, you might be able to get away. You might be able to play with him. But a crocodile, there is no compromise. So the divine emblem of Sebek was the crocodile, because a crocodile, the only motherfucker in the animal kingdom, there is no compromise. Same way with the movie Alien. Now where did they get it from? Alien comes from an ape, Geiger's Necronomicon, which he was inspired by the occult and by the occult and also H.P. Lovecraft. The guy Ridley Scott flew over to Europe, saw these magnificent Necronomicon paintings, and later on drafted his Alien movie. So Alien is the ultimate archetype of who we are. That is the alien, because even in the Gnostic text, they talk about the alien God, represented in your book, Bentley Layton's book, The Gnostic Scriptures, the alien God. So we're talking about here another system. Now what are we talking about alchemical? And this is what we're talking about. We're talking about this. We're talking about the word prime. Evil. How you get this word prime evil? That means that evil, or as you say, equals, was in the beginning. That's already, and I don't give a damn what. Religion, whatever. We're talking about chaos. And if we're talking